What is up, everyone? You know who I am. I'm Jack Slater. Yup, the king with the yellow ring. And all the terror and chaos that it seems to bring. I am the comic outlaw, and we're doing a little something different today. We're connecting the toys of one strong guy. Because if you've seen my show, I've been doing these build the pieces with strong guy because the whole set was interesting. And of course, we're going to be reviewing this guy, and he has an odd name, so I had to pull it up here. It is Guido Casarella. Guido, and he's an Italian guy. That's embracing the stereotype, man, I guess. That's like having a Mexican character and calling him Pepe Gonzalez. But anyways, at any rate, this guy is Strong Guy. We have all the pieces here, and I thought it'd be fun, like, to kind of just connect it, kind of bring the character to life, and kind of explain who he is. This guy kind of takes his mutant powers, he takes in kinetic energy, blast, stuff like that, and he turns it into his own personal strength. The problem is that it makes his body all what they refer to as grotesque. And this one's having a little trouble getting in. It gives him that big puffy form. Now, he's able to throw a few blasts here and there, but it's mostly physical strength. This guy was a member of the new X Factor. If you've been watching the show, I've been covering the old X Factor, which basically was the original members. Damn, this thing does not want to go on. Was the original members of the X-Men. Iceman, Beast, Angel, and that's where like Apocalypse came in and all that. After a while, they were bought out by the government, and they kind of wanted to do like a legit team, a government team of mutants. And interestingly enough, that was led by Havoc. Let's see, do I got this? Nope. That was led by Havoc. Havoc, Wolfsbane, Strong Guy, a couple other people. They were the new X Factor. And this was a time in Marvel, I got the legs wrong. This was a time in Marvel where there was so many X-Men titles. X-Men had pretty much blown up at this point. And this is before the movie. I think the X-Men's popularity kind of ended with the movie. Or kind of like ran its course around that time. X-Men was in a gigantic boom. They had several teams. They had X-Men, they had Uncanny X-Men, which X-Men had two teams, Gold and Blue. Gold was led by Cyclops, had Beast, Wolverine, a couple other people. The yellow team was led by Storm. She had Angel, Bishop, and they were actually good rosters. Very good teams. But of course, they had more titles than that. Marvel, on the quest for the ever-loving dollar bill, made X-Force and X-Factor. And a few other titles here and there. Solo titles, this and that. And they had a lot of crossovers at this time, too. The 90s was a big time for crossovers. The 80s kind of started the crossover trend, but the 90s blew it out of proportion. They had so many things like Executioner Song, Fall Mutants. It was just so big at this point, the bubble popped. And this is one of the characters that actually came from that. Guido right here, Strong Guy. And this is a pretty cool figure. I mean, once he's put together, he looks like him. He's real sturdy. And he was always like, he didn't have a name, so he just said Strong Guy. And he was a very loyal friend. He was very loyal to Wolfsbane. Of course, his powers caused pain to him. That was the interesting thing that he ended up revealing, that his powers have him in a constant state of pain. There wasn't a lot of storylines with him in it. Eventually, he ends up becoming a representative of a demon. Yeah, and like he ends up killing Wolfsbane's kid. He falls from grace. They end up destroying him. He becomes a victim of his own pain. So this is kind of like a story of how a really good, kind of dependable guy, always trying to have a sense of humor about things, always trying to make people laugh, trying to be on the lighter side of things. This kind of shows how a hero can make that steady decline and give in to his inner demons. And if you really want to check him out, X Factor, definitely. He's had different issues, like I said, as it went on in X-Men, the later X-Men titles, where he appeared here and there. He's one of those characters, like a lot of these characters in the set, like with Black Tom and a few of the other ones, they're kind of those characters that were there for a little bit, and they're there here and there, and then they're gone. And right now, I think he's deceased, but you never know. In the time that you're watching this, he might be the new Magneto. Comics, y'all. I don't know when you guys are going to watch this, so he might be alive, he might be dead. I always found him to be his own character, Guido. I always knew him as Strong Guy. You know, it's just kind of weird that his name's Guido. But I always found him to be kind of like the sense of humor. Colossus is real prim and proper. Like, if you read a lot of his stuff, that's why they call him Petey Pureheart. You know, he's always with all the... You know, he's kind of like the straight man. You know, this guy is always down for a laugh. So it kind of separated him because Ben's real sarcastic. And this guy tries to be more funny than anything else. Here, let me get you guys a good... Check it out. This is him all together. And like I said, it's a pretty cool toy. Moves around pretty well. You know, very posable. Some of these guys are very stiff. This one's actually really good. I kind of... When I saw it, I was like, man, this is cool. I have a Havoc toy, so it'd be good to kind of put beside him. He was also friends with Multiple Man. Multiple Man was another interesting character. Like I said, X Factor had a lot of different characters that were really cool. You hit him and he split in two. But his doubles were able to feel their pain, and after a while, the doubles had their own personalities. Very interesting stuff. The X Factor comics are cool. Like I said, not everything that every comic book makes is gold, but it's worth checking out if you want to like get to know this guy a little bit more. You want to get to know his fall from grace. But like I said, he was a good, dependable character in X Factor. Later on in other issues, the way they treated him, the way they did his story, when he became a bad guy, representative of a demon, having to kill someone, then ended up dying himself. It was an interesting end to a character like this. A very surprising end, I guess you could say. Unexpected. And sometimes that's nice when a character gets a very unexpected ending, a dark turn, something you didn't see coming. And like I said, this guy has had a very interesting past. It's fascinating how his mutant power actually causes him pain, but he tries not to let that get to him. So it's a very interesting contrast of character after you get to know him. Guido Castorella. I hope I got that right. If I didn't... Anyways, you guys know who I am. I'm the Comic Outlaw. And yeah, man, subscribe. I probably will be doing a little more of the original X Factors. When I first started this channel, I admit the recordings are a little eh. I might redo them because, like I said, I was playing with the technology here. Your planet's technology is a little primitive next to where I came from. More Jetson than, you know. But anyways, I like the X Factor. Like I said, this guy's cool. I'm actually very glad they put him in. He was actually in one of the original toys lines from Hasbro too. And his character's head was teeny tiny, like a Pinhead from Puppet Master. But yes, this guy's his own character. Like I said, I recommend checking him out. I recommend checking out X Factor just for that classic 90s. I mean, like a lot of the X-Men now with Hickman's is really up its own ass. I don't like it. And if you want a nostalgia pop, a little nostalgia feel, I'd check out X Factor. Some of the classic stuff. And if you just want a character that makes you smile for a while, this guy definitely feels the bill. Strong guy, member of X Factor, member of other groups. And as always, I'm the Comic Outlaw. And everyone out there, man, spread the word, man. Spread the word. You know what I'm saying? Let them know what's going on over here. And that I ain't playing. Ah, man. Yeah, but I gotta say, for a build figure, this is actually really awesome. This is like the Juggernaut that I have. You know, very posable, very playable. And I'm very glad because I was a little worried about the legs and how things were going to stand. But now seeing this figure all together, it was the whole set was worth it. The build character all the way to the other characters I covered. And if you haven't seen those videos, I recommend checking them out. I'm the Comic Outlaw, and as always, I'll catch you on the flip side. Yeah.